Today we're going to be talking about the 10 best youth quarterback drills. Now for each one of these drills, you guys, we're going to be giving a beginner version and then an advanced version, especially as a youth quarterback. A lot of guys are new to the position. Maybe you're like starting out playing football, your age is 9, 10 years old. Then some guys are maybe 11, 12, still in that youth category, but have been playing for a while. So we're going to give two versions of each drill that we give you. So this first drill is going to be something called a no stride drill. So the beginner version of this drill, I'm going to explain the technique behind it, and then I'll explain the reason why. If you're like a youth coach watching this, or you're a youth player, you got to understand nowadays, especially with how smart kids are and how more advanced they are with technology, things like that, they crave the reason why. They need to know the reason why behind each exercise. So I'm going to explain that for each drill that we do. So first drill, like I said, is a no stride drill. So let's say the camera is the target. What you're going to do, you're going to be in your throwing stance. Your front foot, the foot that you step with, is already going to be opened to the target, whether it's straight on or whether it's just slightly to the right. I really don't care. I'm more of a slightly to the right guy. And then what you're going to do is you're going to rotate your shoulders back, and you're going to get your shoulders into this like backstroke position where your back of your front shoulder is close to the target and you're here. Then all you're going to do is you are just going to drive from your back leg, transfer your weight, and rotate your hips to bring the football through, and we're just going to play catch just like that. Now, why do we do that? Now, as quarterbacks, especially younger quarterbacks, mechanics is the most important thing. I don't even like my younger quarterbacks trying to throw deep balls downfield, trying to drive a deep post, because luckily or likely in your guys' offense, probably won't have that kind of time because of the offensive line, and you're not strong enough to drive the ball 30, 35 yards downfield. You have to focus on mechanics, and that will help you long term. So mechanics, the goal that every single youth quarterback should try to have is that when they throw, you want your back hip to be firing through, your back knee to be firing through before the shoulder and before the ball. They call that chasing the hip with the ball. How you're able to get there is by something called hip and shoulder dissociation. So anytime that you throw, you want to think of it like a baseball swing. Like baseball hitters have dissociation. If I'm stepping to the target over here, when I step, I want my shoulders to go back. I want to maintain weight on my back leg because that will allow me to rotate my shoulders back. So now when that foot's down, I'm here, my hips can go through before the shoulders, separating the upper body from the lower body. That's what this drill works on. So again, you're going to be here, front foot's open, nice and relaxed. You're already going to start out in that dissociation position, then your hips are going to fire the upper half through. So I'll show you how that should look full speed, and then we'll do a more advanced version of this drill. Now, if you're a quarterback and you guys would like more drills that you guys can do broken down with the exact sets and reps and made into a daily workout schedule for you, like Monday you're doing this, Tuesday you're doing that, check out that very first link in the description below for our Elite Quarterback Training Package. It's 2 months of quarterback on-field training drills that you could do. Again, we give you video examples of each drill, and we talk about the exact sets and reps and make it into a schedule. So if you guys would like that schedule, check out again that very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, the more advanced version of this drill, you guys, is going to be starting out with the ball not already in this backstroke position, but in the middle of your chest like a normal throw. So a lot of quarterbacks, when we do the more beginner version of the no stride drill, your front foot's open, your weight's back, you're here, you're in a position where your weight is loaded onto this back leg on the essential like foot strike, which is where we want to be. I'm doing a normal throw, I take a step to the target, my weight's got to stay back for a second so I could get to that dissociation position. Now, a lot of quarterbacks, when we bring the ball to their middle of their chest, when they go to separate their hands, their weight shoots forward, and that makes it physically impossible for you to dissociate your upper body from your lower body. When your weight's forward, you can't rotate your shoulders back. When your weight's back, you can rotate your shoulders back. So we're going to try to emphasize that on the more advanced version of this. So your front foot's open to the target, ball's in the middle of your chest. All you're going to do is you're going to rotate and separate, but you're going to pretend like you have a flashlight on your knee, flashlight on your hip, and you're trying to keep that to the sideline as your hands separate. Then it's the same exact thing as the first drill, getting your hips to fire through before your shoulders. So I'm going to show you how this drill should look full speed. Now this next drill is going to be called a single leg hop. So we're going to be giving you a more beginner version of this first and then a more advanced version. So this single leg hop is exactly how it sounds. You literally just need 2 cones about 10 yards apart. You are going to stand on your throwing side foot, and I'll explain the reason why behind this in a second. But all you were going to do is you were just going to hop, and you were trying to keep your toes pointed towards the sideline the entire time. Why do we do this? So this sets up the throwing sequence that we talked about in the very first drill that we did. So in the very first drill that we did, think about it, guys. You take a step to the target, where's your weight supposed to stay? Back. So your shoulders can rotate back, so when your hips decide to drive through, it happens before your shoulders go through, right? That creates torque, and that's hip and shoulder dissociation. So this drill helps us get to that back leg position that allows us to do that. Because a lot of quarterbacks, when they drop back, let's say I'm taking a 3-step drop and throw. They'll go 1, 2, 3, and their weight shifts forward, and all their weight's onto their front foot because they lack strength, balance, and stability in their back leg. So when their weight's forward, they take a step to the target, but you're not, even if you tried to dissociate your shoulders and your lower body, you couldn't do it because your weight's forward. But a lot of guys, again, struggle with strength on that back leg. They physically can't get to this position where their back foot is underneath their armpit, their shin is straight, so they could stay back when that foot strike gets down. So this drill builds strength in that position. So again, all we are doing is hopping all the way for 10 yards. Going to show you how it should look full speed. Now this next exercise is the single leg hop, but it's with a clap, so it's a little bit more challenging and it works a little bit more on balance, but it covers the exact same things as the more beginner version of this would do. So it's the same deal, you're hopping on your throwing side foot, but what you're going to do is you're going to clap, or you're gonna have a partner, and your partner's gonna clap his hands. So when he claps his hands, that's when you're gonna jump, but you're not jumping again until he claps his hands again. Then we jump again and we repeat the process for that 10-yard space. So the reason why we do this again, guys, is just a little bit more challenging with the clap, but also if you guys are to jump and you're really wide, you're not going to be able to balance on your back leg, aka not get my weight back on my throws. A lot of quarterbacks, they'll take a 3-step drop and their back foot is insanely wide because again, they lack strength, they lack balance, they lack stability. So that's what this drill works on. Now we're going to be giving you a beginner and advanced version of something called a hip walk. So the beginner version, this is working on the first part of your throwing sequence. Remember, in that very first drill we covered it. When you take a step to the target, where's your weight supposed to stay? Back, and your shoulders are supposed to rotate back as your weight stays back. So this drill works on that exact concept, so your hips can lead through before the shoulders do. So what you're going to do, you're going to get in a stance, your weight's going to be back, we're going to be in that shin straight position. I like about 60 to 70% of your weight on your back leg, and your arms are going to be extended straight out. This makes it more like emphasized of you rotating your shoulders. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a step like to the target to where the camera is, and we're doing this in place. So we're doing 10 reps at a time. It's just a step and your shoulders and your arms go back. Then you come back again, step, shoulders, arms go back. But when I do that, notice how my back leg does not move. I'm not transferring my weight forward as I do this. I'm trying to fully rotate my shoulders back as I step and loading that weight onto my back leg. So that hip walk drill is a great drill to work on the first part of your throwing sequence. Now this next exercise is going to be that same hip walk, but it's a more advanced version. It's going to be off of some movement. So you're going to bring your arms in closer to your chest. You need 2 cones set up about 10 yards away, and the rhythm of this is going to be left, right, left. Or what I should say is front side, like non-throwing side foot, throwing side foot, non-throwing side foot. So it's just 1, 2, 3, and you'll get what I'm saying in a second. So you're going to be here. I'm a right-handed quarterback, so I'm going to step with my left foot first. If you're a lefty, obviously it's the opposite way. So your hands are relaxed in the middle of your chest, your eyes are forward, your front shoulders open, and all we're doing is just left, right, left. Stepping, weight stays back, shoulders go back. Reset, left, right, left. Reset, left, right, left. And all we are working on is my shoulders staying back and my weight staying back as I take a step to the target to get a good throwing sequence. So I'm going to show you how this should look full speed. Now also, fellas, in 2025, we are going to be coming out to 15 different states across the country for 2-day long QB and wide receiver training camps. So guys, if you would like to train with us, check out that second link in the description below. It's where you can get all the information and sign up. We are going to be coming out to San Francisco, California, Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, Seattle, Washington, Las Vegas, Nevada, Newark, New Jersey, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and Los Angeles, California. So guys, we'd love to have you out to one of our 2-day long training camps. So again, second link in that description below. Let's get back to this full speed example. Now the next beginner and advanced drill is going to be something called a straight jacket. So this builds off of the last drill, that QB walk that we were doing. So if I'm in a base and I'm throwing, let's say I take a step to the target, my weight stays back, my shoulders go back. What needs to bring my shoulders through? It's the hips and the weight transfer, right? So this drill works on my hip and my weight transfer, bringing my shoulders and bringing the football through in the throw, or in the throwing sequence, I guess you should say. Now, this drill doesn't require a ball, but it works on the same elements as that no stride drill that we covered in the very beginning of this. So this is something, if you guys maybe your arm's tired, maybe your arm's sore, it's still a way to work on your mechanics without putting extra mileage on your arm. So you're gonna do this in place first and then off of some movement. And we're gonna show you a full speed example of each one. So you're gonna be here, arms are gonna be crossed like you're in a straight jackets where they put like crazy people in so they can't use their arms. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna think about the same step, the same shoulder rotation, the same weight back position, but then what you're gonna do is you're gonna drag this back foot through and have your hips bring your shoulders through, right? So I'll show you again, it's kind of semi full speed. So it's shoulders back, hips bring the upper half through. Now, when we do it off of some movement, it's the same pattern as the last one, and you need to do this in a 10-yard space. So your weight's gonna be back, left, right. It's very important when we do this, as we take that initial left-right step, my weight stays back, 70% on the back leg, and then we step left and go through. It's left, right, left, and then rotate through. So we're gonna show you each one of those should look full speed to work on that weight transfer and hip drive to bring the shoulders through. Now these are going to be two different, again, a more beginner and then advanced version of a pocket footwork drill. So this is going to be just like our cone box drill. So essentially all you're doing is a pretty simple drill. I like this a little bit better than setting up like, you know, like hurdles and having to shuffle through hurdles, just because I feel like you have a little bit more free range. And that's how this position's played, right? A lot of times quarterback coaches do the super black and white pocket movements where you're shuffling up, shuffling back, or trying to avoid bags or cones or hurdles or whatever it is. I feel like this one you get a little bit more free range. It's more realistic, because in the pocket, how often are you moving it like a 90 degree? It's really not that often. You're going from progression to progression, having to move around, buy some time. It's a very gray area, not black and white. So what you're doing is this is just going to be just a simple snake pattern. So you're just going to take a 3-step drop to start, and then all you're going to do is you're just going to work through these cones going up, work through these cones going back, and you're just going to work this entire pattern all the way through. And then you could have a partner standing maybe 10 to 12 yards away, really whatever route that you want to work. When he flashes his hands, you set your feet and you throw. Now, the more advanced version of this is if your partner claps his hands. So what that will cause you to do is reverse and change direction. So there's a little bit more of a reaction element to this drill. So let's say I take a 3-step drop, I'm shuffling through, your partner claps, you go the other way, he claps, you go back the other way again. So it works on a reaction, but having to maintain your base and getting your feet moving in the pocket, which is ultimately what this position's about when it comes to a footwork standpoint. So I'm going to show you how this drill should look full speed.